call the May 20th, 2019 Board of Selectmen meeting to order. Is there anyone recording the meeting? Okay, anyone else? All right. I'll go on to public discussion. Anyone have anything for public discussion? Yes, Mr. Mendes.
I have one question. Does any of the Board of Selectmen plan on inserting any more articles in the special and annual town meeting?
No, it's been closed for quite a while.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? All right, first item is the housing production plan. Chris McKay, if you'll come up and do a short synopsis. I'll admit I got about halfway through it, Chris, but not the whole way through the whole plan. I'll read the rest at another time, but
Okay.
if you could just give a rundown.
Just for the record, Chris McKay, land technician for the Freetown Planning Board. Basically, the idea about the housing production plan is it involves studies and basically outlining the barriers and the strategies that can be used to try and increase affordable housing in Freetown. Because I believe that Freetown has a little around 2% affordable housing currently, and in order to deny a comprehensive 40B permit, you need 10%. So this basically outlines some of the areas on what can be done and what possible strategies there are to make more affordable housing. With a approved and endorsed housing production plan, that's been approved and endorsed within 15 days of a 40B comprehensive permit, the ZBA can actually deny the 40B because this shows the steps that the town would be trying to do to alleviate some of the affordability problems.
I have a question here. The affordable housing that is suggested, why is that better than the 40B, or what is the difference? Really not that familiar with it.
Well, I think there's the 40B and then the friendly 40B, and from what I understand, a 40B, the state can basically say, this is what you're going to do to have more affordable housing, and it's not subject to zoning, normal zoning and dimension, and those kind of requirements that the town would have. So this would just give the town the option to say where it's going to be and give more options other than just being told this is what you're doing and this is how you're doing it.
On that note, Chris, so as we are presently operating, anyone could come in and build basically any type of a housing development, for lack of under the 40B laws, and we would have no say at all.
Yeah.
They could come in and build a 5-6 story high apartment building.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, just so.
It would still be subject to the state review.
Okay, just so we could, hold on, there's a question here. Yes.
These 40B and what you're talking about either way, do they include town services? Water and sewer?
Well, they could. If a contractor could come in and say, I want to put a water main up to service my units, and basically.
So the contractor's gonna pay for
The
it?
contractor would pay for it, yes.
And the town's not gonna reimburse the contractor?
We would hope not, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna speak to what might happen sometime. It has in the past, but right. They could. An example at Chipaway Road at the New Bedford line, there's land that is owned by a church group. They could build if they wanted to go in 40B and extend the sewer, we'll say, to their development, and they could do that, and we would have no control. Thank you, Chris. Continue now.
Oh, okay. So the first strategy was kind of brought up was to reestablish the Freetown Housing Authority. I believe it's already happening, or?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So that's one strategy down. Second one would be modifying the adult community bylaw, or adult retirement community bylaw, to basically decrease the acreage and make it easier for people to create adult retirement communities and homes in town, and which would be good for multiple reasons. And one would be that if you're making a house for somebody that's less land to take care of, and when they're getting older and might not have as much energy for that. Modify the planned mixed-use district bylaw, which they went on to explain. The strategy was basically just allowing increased density and maybe requirements for these developments in the planned mixed-use district that were serviced by sewer and water, just because they wouldn't have the need for septic or wells, basically. Next one is adopting an inclusionary zoning bylaw, which would just make it easier for the town to say you have to make a certain amount of the houses affordable whenever they build any of them. Adopting moderate density zoning that allows more units on less land. That kind of speaks for itself. One of the major problems they identified was the large lot size requirement in town, and how that prevents people who might want to move here from moving here and building a house just because they need to have all that land to do it. Adopting incentive zoning that seeks to reduce subsidized units by providing developers with financial incentives. Again, I feel like that kind of speaks for itself, that if the developers want to trying to get them to develop here and give them money or with less than requirements or something. Develop comprehensive permit rules and regulations. That is mostly, that'd be like the ZBA, and that would, I guess, they would have better permit rules and regulations to try and decide what's affordable and what the actual requirements are for them. Encourage friendly 40 developments. Like I said, those are the ones that I believe people want more than the regular 40Bs, because basically say you have to make this amount of houses affordable, and you can say where they're going to be and stuff. And pursue tax title properties for affordable housing development. That also kind of speaks for itself, just using the properties you get through taxes and making sure they're used for affordable housing. And then increase local coordination between local committees, boards, and departments. I think that goes, that's through kind of all this, where multiple boards would have to work together to get some of this stuff done and change bylaws and rules and regulations to make a more affordable, kind of friendly zoning. But that's the 9 strategies they have. I don't know if you guys have
Okay.
specific questions.
Anyone have any? Well, as we said, later tonight, we'll appoint a person to the open position that is elected. The other thing will be that we need a appointee by the governor, and so we'll be pursuing that. I'm thinking it probably would be a good thing to get the housing authority, once they are completely organized, and meet and have a conversation about Freetown Screw and what we're doing there, so they're aware of what we're doing and what the part they can play.
I have talked to a member of the affordable housing, the housing authority about that.
Okay, good. All right.
Do we know how many units are required for us to meet the minimum requirement?
3263.
What is it?
I think it said 3263, and we're at 2.6%.
So 3263, I think, is the total.
Total, yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean, 32?
3,263 homes.
Yeah.
Housing units in town.
3,200?
Yes.
Mhm.
And then from that, we'd have to, I think it's like, what is it, 10%?
10%
So
affordability,
we got
yeah.
300 affordability. We have 82, 83 units right now? Or something like that?
We have, as of September 2017, there's 86 affordable housing units. So they need to, Freetown would need to produce 240 more affordable units to meet the
Meet this
10%. 10%.
Okay. We all set there? Okay. Ms. Mendes?
I have one
yes.
question for the gentleman. He said that you have a list of contractors and people that want this?
No.
You kinda did say that. You said people have been asking about this, people want this. Is there any projects somebody's trying to push through right now?
Not that I know of.
Oh.
No, no.
I just, that's
No,
all I was asking.
that was never implied. There's no, what this plan is a plan to try to get us to the 10% affordable housing. And if we have this plan, then if someone comes in and wants to do a 40B and we've at our limit, they don't get to sidestep zoning. As we presently are, someone can come in and sidestep every element of our zoning and do basically whatever they need to do their project.
Mhm.
That's what we're trying to move away from. Okay?
So the Board of Selectmen is gonna watch this very carefully. making
Well,
sure-
we're gonna do our part.
Yeah.
A lot of it will be, the bottom line is it's the voters and what they wanna do and how they want to.
Well, it's gonna raise taxes, and people haven't even seen the raise of
Well-
the taxes from the police station yet. And,
Well, I don't know if we have any control, say, and I don't think it's gonna raise taxes. The fact of the matter is, right now, we are unprotected, totally unprotected. What we're trying to do here is to get us protection.
No, I
The
absolutely agree with
bottom line is that, the zoning changes that need to be carried out are going to have to be carried out by town meeting.
If you recall, the last special town meeting, Kevin Dismaris went toe-to-toe with an old lady about this same thing, and it got pushed off or voted no.
Right, well, right, and that's what we have to face. We have to, make sure that people don't have, false impressions.
By giving people more notice of
well,
these things, they
All
can
right,
do their
but,
homework.
okay, but we're not gonna campaign here either, Gary,
know.
okay? All right, so, all right,
We'll move on to.
fine, yes, okay.
Sorry.
Do you have anything, Mark? Okay, all right. Thank you, Chris. Next on the agenda is the,
Thanks, Chris.
Comstar ambulance rates. Chief Sylvia? Here we are again, once again, and with the same issue. We need to adjust the ambulance rates for another year. In the past, I've recommended that we go by the Comstar rates, which are a summary or average, mean, what is it, do you remember what, is it average or mean?
It's the average of the
Yeah.
top
Of the
50, I think it is.
top 50, and the rates are, they're before us, I don't know, do you, Joe, do you have that? There we go. The basic, is it basic emergency or not emergency? Basic emergency is a little higher than Comstar, but everything else is considerably lower than the Comstar rates.
No, Comstar is
No, basically,
an ambulance service?
It's a ambulance billing
Oh,
service.
billing,
yeah,
Yes,
and they're doing our billing?
they're doing our
Yes.
billing.
yes.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I have to ask you, whatever we bill, let's say you've got a rate here for emergency of $392. If we,
That's the Medicare rate, that's not
oh,
our
that's-
rate. Our rate is
okay.
the one all the way to the
Our
right.
rates are
Oh,
right there.
okay, okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, my point was going to be, whatever we bill, we're only going to get allowables.
Correct,
Correct.
the
Right,
federal
yeah,
insurances, your Medicare, your Medicaid,
right,
your Mass Health,
so,
workers' comp falls under that.
right. So, how much difference does it make if our rate goes up
Well, you be able to collect a little bit more off of your private insurance companies,
Okay.
and maybe a little more off your self-pays,
We got billing self-pays?
you know.
Okay.
But just so we're
But as you wait-
aware, on self-pays, if there's a hardship, we very often do, we make an accommodation. Every month, we do the ambulance,
How'd you determine
We
that?
abate,
Go ahead, Lisa.
we abate them.
Yeah.
That's the word he was looking for.
We bill out, we used to bill just 2 times, you send them a notice saying you didn't pay your bill. We now have gone to a 3rd notice.
Mhm.
After that, we write it off. We don't chase them down, we don't, send the leg breakers after them. We just, and right now, the town's thing is, we just write it off.
And you don't do a means test on that, or
No.
nothing? Okay.
Nothing.
And that's our policy.
That's our policy, but it's actually your policy.
My policy.
Yes. You're on that side of the table now, so it's your
Okay,
policy.
okay. All right, is that something we're comfortable with? I mean,
well, I guess the question would be, how much of the how much self-paying is there how much of an issue is there in self-paying?
With the regular insurances, we collect almost 97% of what we charge, that's allowable.
Right.
With the self-pays, that drops down to like 17%. The self-pays are very tough for,
have you ever
Comstar.
have you ever considered, since you're billing them $1,400, and all we can usually expect the Medicare rate of $392, can we offer them a huge discount if they pay within 30 days or something like that?
I don't know if I would assume you folks can, but I don't know if that's, the 392 is your Medicare rate, that's not,
Right.
don't confuse that with the self-pays.
No, that's.
Medicare, no matter what you,
Yeah.
no what we bill, they're gonna pay that, whatever that rate is,
Right,
period.
right. But you bill them $1,400
Mhm.
and you get $392.
Correct.
That's the way it works. If you bill a self-pay, if you bill them $1,400, you hardly ever get it, and you don't chase it, which is okay. But if you bill them $1,400 and then offer them a discount if paid within 30 days, would we collect some? I mean, it's just a question.
Yeah, again, I don't know if that'd be a bad policy to start, cause then your
Yeah.
insurance company's gonna say, well, wait a minute now, why are we
Well-
paying our amount? I don't know,
Because
I
it's
don't
a
know if that's the
contractual
road I wanna go
amount,
down, I'm not sure I can answer
Yeah.
that question for you, I'm not a building person.
Comstar might know the answer to
Right.
that. Yeah, I'm not sure either.
If you want, Comstar is willing to send a representative down here and meet with you folks, and go through the whole process, but they did it, what, a couple months ago,
Yeah.
right? We sat down during the day with,
Well, let me ask you
Okay,
That
first.
might be helpful just from an educational standpoint.
right, just educate on the whole process, how it works, it's really,
Chief, what percentage would you say is self-pay?
I might have the answer for you.
Because it might be academic.
Charlie.
Yeah, okay. When he's done with this question, I'll get you.
Well, the total charges of last year, we had, the total allowable we collected, we had billed out 416,392. For the self-pay, it was only 138, 700,000, so it's probably what, a quarter, maybe less.
25% of the total was self-pay? Is that what you're saying?
No, the total billed out was 5,500,000, and then the self-pay is only 138. So what's that?
138,000?
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a bit. So almost 25%.
A little less, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting for you.
Okay, so, a motion,
I don't
well,
know.
put right here. Oh.
If my memory serves me correctly, when this was passed at the town meeting a number of years ago, it passed because the town agreed that if people did not have insurance to cover the cost of ambulance service, emergency service, it would be abated. And that's where we've done that since that was passed, but if you go back and you look at the article and how it was passed, that's how it was passed. The question was, we wanna bill insurance companies. And in that discussion, in that town meeting, the people didn't wanna go along with it unless people that didn't have insurance weren't gonna be chased for the amount. So I just hope that people remember how it
Yeah,
was passed.
no, you're absolutely correct. I do remember that, yeah.
What path do we wanna?
Do you have
take?
any recommendations?
It's really up to the board, what you guys wanna do. I mean, I can just tell you, back in January, usually when Comstock puts out their change rate form in January, the town to the north of us goes with the highest rate they have. The town to the east of us chose nothing at all, just keep their rates the same. So, just keep one thing in mind, the higher we raise these rates, the more you guys have to write off. It's
Yeah.
just- I realize it's just a numbers game, it's just, right.
Right.
So as long as you guys aren't,
But-
take a shot by writing off.
But going by what we just heard,
Yeah.
basically, self-pay shouldn't be billed anyways, but I think we have to by
Yeah.
law, right?
Yeah, you have to bill them.
Yeah.
If they don't pay, then you don't chase
Right,
them.
yeah,
I
so,
mean, what I would recommend is that I would reach out to Comstar, have them send a rep down, meet with you folks, because they can educate you a lot more on the whole building process than I can.
mhm.
And they can tell you the options you have as far as how far you want to push it. Do you want to go out to collections? Do you want to go out to small claims?
Yeah, I wouldn't, yeah. Charlie?
Mark?
Could I ask how many runs were billed out as self-pay last year?
As of last year was 81 total,
Total of 81 runs?
I have how many runs?
out of 760 transports.
10%?
Is there any way to offer a, like on a second billing, a reduced, without, what's the legislative process for offering a discounted rate? You know, if there's a hardship paying for this, we'll accept, even if it's $200.
They offer
Something.
payment plans.
Not a payment plan, but
No.
an offer of an accord and satisfaction, so.
That I don't know
a
if they can do
discounted
that now. But I will tell you this, we had an elderly woman we transported 3 years ago, and she still pays us $5 a month.
I look at it from the perspective, if you're billing $1,400 for a run, it's a little bit extraneous. If it's $200 or $300, somebody may say, you know what, they picked me up, they took good care of me, they brought me to the hospital, I'll pay the $300.
Right?
But we're charging an extraneous rate when the insurance company is paying $380 or $390.
Well, no, again, you're getting confused with Medicare again.
When Medicare compensation is reimbursing the department just under $400. I mean, half a loaf of bread is better than none.
But you could pay $300 and the town would abate the rest of it.
Correct.
You could just send a note saying, it's all I can afford, and they would abate the rest of it, like we do every month.
All right, do we want to have a Comstar representative come and speak?
Might be a good idea.
Right. I'll accept the motion.
Oh,
Do I hear a motion for a vote?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, all right.
Second.
A motion made and seconded to have a representative of Comstar Ambulance Billing Service to come to a future, probably sometime in July.
When do you need these?
You can change the rates anytime.
Okay,
There's
so
no-
we're not, we're
There's
not in a
no,
rush.
there's no
Okay,
rush,
that's
you can,
fine.
anytime you want.
All right, Chief, thank you.
All right, I'll reach out to them, and you thinking maybe July?
Yes.
At a night meeting,
Well,
or do you gotta do some during daytime?
okay,
Doesn't matter.
okay, well, let's see if they'll come to an evening meeting, that way it's on film and so forth, and we don't have to have a special meeting to be, if it could be on an evening meeting, if not, we'll have to work.
I'll
something.
reach out to them.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chief.
Dismissed, thank you.
All right,
Charlie, I need to call the vote.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
The South Coast Rail easement, you said.
I have been in contact with Gene Fox, and they were unable to get me the license agreement for tonight's meeting, so we're gonna push it off. to a meeting in June. She has, legal wasn't able to get it done in time.
Okay. And if we could just make a note, Tim, that we need someone from from the cemetery commission to be present.
We actually did get a letter in support
Okay.
from the cemetery commission. We had
Okay,
asked them for.
okay, if they have the letter, okay, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Reserve fund transfer request for street lighting budget. And
The highway
the highway
Superintendent.
department has a request,
for $900.
$900. They presently have 103205 in the account, so they would need another $900 to pay the bills.
What's the bill amount, do you know?
Alright, let's see if it is,
I wanna say
no,
they were averaging $800 or $900 a month.
okay. He doesn't say here, he's just
He
saying.
doesn't say here, but then,
He just said that the bills are higher this year. I
and
know it's-
hopefully, next year, when we start implementing the LED light program, some of those costs in terms of electricity costs will, be going down.
Make a motion to, pay this, or to transfer the funds, rather.
The motion is actually, sorry, we don't get to make a motion to pay it or not pay it. So our motion would just be to send it off to the finance committee.
Oh,
Transfer it to.
okay, to approve the transfer, do we approve it?
No, we don't approve it. We just recommend sending this to the FinCom.
Okay. So that's my motion.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made and
Thank you,
seconded.
Lisa.
All of those in favor?
Aye.
Next item would be the interdepartmental transfer request for trash single stream recycling fees to transfer station waste removal and disposal. And that is in a amount of $15,000.
What exactly does that mean?
What it means is that in the line item, for the picking up of the trash and recycling, he wants to move the, amount of $15,000 to the waste removal and disposal account of the transfer station. So what that is there is a deficiency at the transfer station in being able to remove the dumpsters and dispose of those, and he has money in the single stream account to cover it, so he's just asking that we move the money within the budget.
So this one we do approve, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next is the proposed amendment to administrative consent order with Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection and the Water and Sewer Commission. And Paul, if you could just give us a little synopsis of what's transpired.
Yeah, the reason why DEP is making the change is because our THM levels are down. And when the order was first written, they wanted us to have a second line available. That second line was installed when the overpass for Innovation Way was put in. The state did it a number of years ago. Actually, it has to be 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Because we went to the dedication. And unfortunately, when we pressurized that line, in fact, the state claims they don't own it, but they do own it, they never gave it to the town. When we pressurized the line, in the winter, it leaks on 24, so we gotta shut it down. So DEP understands the dilemma. They're satisfied with what we've done with the THMs coming off the main line, so that they're just removing that as part of the requirement. However, since I'm talking about it, we met with with the state, remember that
Yeah.
day downtown when I was on the board? And it should be fixed. We had to shut it down again. We had it tested, and we tested it in the fall. There was no leaks. As soon as the weather gets cold, where it goes under the overpass over 24,
Gaskets.
I surmise that, you know,
The gasket.
the gaskets start leaking, and next thing you know, the state police are there, hey, we got ice all over 24. So I wish we could get it squared away. I don't know how you do it. I think you gotta get political vote from our representatives to get this thing done, because we have to, we had it on last year, we tested it, it wasn't leaking. As soon as it got cold, started leaking, we had to shut it down. So that's what this is about, taking that requirement off, because they understand that there's nothing we can do until
Right.
somebody fixes it.
Now, this is just a secondary line, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there was, when the THMs were high, they wanted a second route, a new line coming in on Innovation Way, where they have, tanks that aerate the water. We haven't been able to use that, but we've solved our issue with the water. And by the way, if we get through the end of this season, this summer season, without any issues, the whole thing goes away. Okay?
That's what I said the last time.
Just a note, Paul, probably if somebody could have written up just a little synopsis, you wouldn't have had to come in if you
Well,
don't want.
I've- The chairman called me this morning and says, hey, I can't make it tonight, can you go? I said, yeah, I'll go.
Okay. But just so the board
Oh, we
knows.
could've
yeah,
done that, okay.
Yeah, you could, because basically all it is you're striking that, paragraph from the agreement because
Right.
we don't have.
They're striking it, they're
Right,
taking it
yeah,
out, which
exactly.
makes it better for us.
Right. All right, so, I would entertain a motion to, go along with and sign the, amendment to the consent order, as it now stands.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
I'm all set.
You're all set.
You know what, it's really nice sitting on this side of the table.
I'm sure it is.
See you
All
later.
right, take care. Summer office hours and meeting schedule. And Tim has drawn up a little chart here of the summer, calendar, starting with the month of June. I don't, personally, I don't have any issues with it, other than, I will be away on June 17th. Actually, I'll be away from the 14th to the 27th. And so I would respectfully request that we move that up to the 10th for the meeting. A week after town meeting, we can clean up anything that's left from town meeting, so to speak. And that's basically the meeting that we do reappointments. And we could do the reappointments and basically only reappointments and something, if there's some emergency item on the 10th. And then we'll go from there to the 1st. Also, just so we know, probably on the 10th would be the day we would have the third graders in to have as the essay winners as members of the Board of Selectmen for the evening. Other
Yeah,
than-
that's fine, I don't care.
Other than that, I don't see anything else. Anyone else have anything?
Fine with me.
And then the other issue is around the 4th of July. And Tim, did everyone get your email, or just myself, about the number of people who have taken the 5th off?
I think it's just
already? Okay, a number of town employees have put in to take the 5th off as a day off. And in the past, we have closed town hall and allowed employees to take the 5th as a vacation day. So I'll listen to any input on that.
We closed town hall?
That was on Black Fridays, we typically
Well,
do that.
yeah,
But given the 4th of July is on a Thursday, might be the same situation. if we
right.
close on
The
Fridays.
5th will
Half
be,
day.
the 5th will be a half day anyways. It's a Friday. So,
Oh, no, I don't have a problem with that.
And what are we doing on the third? Closing at what time?
Well,
In the past, it's been 1 o'clock.
past it's been 1 o'clock. It's been a little bit of talk, do we need to close at 1 o'clock? And what would we do there?
The time that's generally, employees who are involved in prepping the, what do you call it? The float, use that time to get that ready. I don't know, are we doing a float this
Well,
year?
Not to
Really?
my knowledge.
Yeah, the reason why we closed early is because of the highway department was
preparations,
starting to
yeah.
close the roads down, getting all that area ready, so that was the reason why we closed, not because of the float, but I'm sure that they used that time in the way they thought was a good idea. But that's the real reason why we close at 1, is because that whole area gets congested and the highway department starts closing down some of the roads, or at least prepping to close down the roads. So I'll make a motion to close, the offices at 1 o'clock on July 3rd, and, for people to use whatever time they deem necessary if they want to if they want to take off the Friday.
Okay.
Second.
A motion made and seconded to close at 1 on the 3rd and to not open town hall on July 5th. And
Chairman,
allow,
before you vote,
Uh,
on the, if we do that on the third, we'll be requiring people to use time or just closing and,
It's not it's not their fault that we can't work. I
Right.
mean, it's really because the roads are starting to shut down, and
Okay.
if we had everybody work till 4:30, they wouldn't be able to get out of there, cause you know what it's like down there. So, no, not their time.
okay. Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the next is, to decide whether or not we will waive our right of first refusal for, a parcel of land owned by, the Hawes Family Trust, also known as Acushnet Sawmills, for between Chipaway Road and Billy's Lane in, Freetown.
I'll make a motion that we waive our right of first refusal to purchase the certified forest land in Freetown, Mass. Map 248, lot 3625, 248, 3626, 248, lot 84, and 248, lot 165, and map 251, lot 7, part of that lot.
What is the cost of the lot?
I do not know, but the lots, George, they make up a total of just under 35 acres. It's a parcel of land that they have before the planning board for a subdivision, for part of it's for subdivision, and part of it is for, a solar array. So what we would have to do is basically pay fair market value for the land. But because they are on chapter 61A, we do have first refusal, but we have to pay whatever would be, the fair market value. They're doing the subdivision, so I think it's not like it's a sale. So we would have to have some type of an appraisal made
Yeah,
to
you generally get a
purchase
full
the
appraisal,
Right.
and you have,
full market.
I wanna say it's 120 days to exercise the option.
Mm.
That land though is kinda landlocked, like there's nothing that we could put there for ourselves.
Right.
It's in a community, housing community, down by Tommy's Lane, Proprietors Acres, it's in there.
We also have letters from
Right.
conservation that they don't have any interest in planning also.
That's the map here,
Right.
George. Here's Chippewa Road, here's, Tommy's and Billy's, I believe, in the, subdivision, remember, Bill Long, started, right? So Wamstead Way, which comes in off of Bullock Road, goes right into the project and so forth. And my understanding, they're going to have a subdivision in the front and solar array in the back.
Oh, there's no interest for the town?
No, it, in my opinion, would be costly undertaking to purchase it. Probably would be close to $1 million to buy the land.
And generally, we do, like I said, we talk to conservation, we talk to planning, see if there is an interest in keeping it as open space and that kind of thing. And we have letters from both of them saying, no, they're not interested, so.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion? Do you have a second?
Do we have a motion?
Yes,
made it,
she
yeah.
made a motion to.
I'll second.
The motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
On item number 9, regulations for pawn shops and second-hand merchandise licenses. And this was the regulations that we reviewed. We originally got about a month ago. We talked about it last week. I did recommend minor adjustments on a few which were redlined, basically on the hours, and that there be a public hearing. We didn't hear any other.
Do we have a public hearing?
Well, this is regulations for the license. We would, and part of those regulations for the license would be that we hold a public hearing before we issue a license.
Okay.
And then the other thing was the hours of operation. And instead of, they had in it hours from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. each weekday, and we have changed that to hours of business for secondhand dealers shall be set by a licensing authority with when the license is granted.
Is someone applying for this license?
We had one in the recent past, but apparently that negotiations for the location have apparently fallen through because they have they officially withdrawn the license. They haven't, but they haven't.
They haven't, but we haven't heard.
Yeah,
anything.
and I know that I've talked to Mary Brown, who's gonna be located in a property she owns, and she, at this point, is not ready to move forward with that, so, as a tenant.
But, so right now would be, we were behind the 8 ball, now we're getting in front of the 8 ball on this.
Are we, is this gonna be a yearly license? Or is this gonna be like, once we give it, it's done?
I don't know what the,
I believe that's set by statute.
yeah, it would be statutory, so I don't know if it's a yearly renewal. It wouldn't, in the language says, it's the original issuing of the license. If it was a renewal, you wouldn't have to have a public hearing every time the license was renewed, if that's your question, Lisa. But,
We could
I'm-
find that out.
Well, I'd like to, because, say somebody goes in and we figure out that some of this is not working, I just wanna be able to go back and fix some of the things that need to be fixed, so that's why I was
in the
asking.
policy?
Hmm?
Yeah, we can
You can
change
amend it.
we can amend the policy anytime we want.
Okay.
Any policy that we set with, we can change, or amend as we need to. Do I hear a motion?
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
I thought you were still thinking.
Yeah, I'm done.
10, item number 10 is plans for present police station. And I asked that this be put on for us to start to consider on an avenue of how we're going to make a decision on the present police station, what we may or may not do with it. So I will listen to suggestions on what we, how
I
we,
think we bring it back to the building committee and see,
Okay.
the regular building committee, the one
Yeah,
that started
right,
it all,
yeah.
and see if there's interest there, and I think that the building committee can make a recommendation to the board to say, tear it down. But I think that, we really need to get price, if we're gonna flatline that, we need to get some prices on what that's gonna cost too, so
Certainly,
we
yeah.
know what we're doing. And we'll also have to compare that to, if we don't flatline the building, then what's it gonna cost to keep it open, or not open, but at least, you know,
standing.
yeah. So
Wasn't
we'll
there-
have to look at that.
Wasn't the recommendation from the architects to flatline it, as you say?
It wasn't, they didn't make a clear recommendation, they kinda like said to us, it's probably a better idea, it's probably gonna be cheaper in the long run if you just flatline it. But we have to think, is there anything in that building for storage, for anything? I mean, are we running out of space anywhere else? I mean, those are things that we can at least talk about and then make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, do you wanna make a motion that we forward this to the building committee?
Sure, I'll make
Okay.
that.
And,
as a motion.
just on that note, if we kinda like, we need to get going on
Mhm.
planning on the possibility of a library COA or both, or
Yeah,
whatever
we
it
have
might
to
be.
start looking at what our next project or, timeline is gonna be.
Okay,
Is the building committee doing that, or
Yeah,
are we doing it?
The building committee.
The building,
Would
were
be
you on the
the-
building committee?
yes,
Okay.
and you are now, George, too.
I am now?
Yes,
Thanks for
member of the
telling me.
board. Well, be noticed.
Okay.
All right, so, Lisa, would you make the motion to,
Yep, I make-
forward it to the,
Yep, I'll
Building
make that
committee.
motion.
okay?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Alright.
Aye.
Minutes for the May 7th, 2019 Selectmen's meeting. We had to cancel that for lack of a quorum. I was here to open and close the meeting. I guess.
Probably the happiest meeting you've ever had.
Well, hey, quickest, that was one. So if I could just have a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Alright.
Aye.
New police station project update.
There's not really anything much to report since last week, but I think if you all take a ride by, you can see that it's coming along. Just let's pray to the rain gods that rain stops, because we don't want that to hinder, any of, the progress that we've made thus far, so, that's it.
All right. Reaffirm vote on contract for bedrock well with J.D. Ogden Company Incorporated.
Make a motion to approve and sign the contract for, TJ Ogden Company.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town administrator's report.
I only have a couple things. One is, just to let the board know, if you've driven down North Main Street, South Main Street, I should say, the South Main Street Bridge is currently being repaired. The grout is being replaced. It's been a while in the making, and we're happy to finally see that we're making some progress there. It's hoped that by mid-June, the project will be done, and we don't anticipate any impact from the repair to impact any of the 4th of July celebration festivities. We got the town reports in, they're finished, included in that town report, the Board of Selectmen also included their report, just to let you know. Monument Dam, they're gonna be starting working on that on Wednesday. We sent a notice out to abutters, basically informing them of what they're doing. It's basically at this point just a testing. They wanna test the soils, they wanna test the structure, the actual dam structure. They may actually put a rig in at some point. The whole goal of that is to determine, the course of action, whether the bridge should be removed, whether it should be breached, or whether it should be repaired. the results of their findings will present the recommendation they feel would be best for the bridge. We're gonna be offering some department head training to our employees. There's a part one, Essentials in Leadership, on 5/29/19, and then a second part on 6/5/2019, just to get our, department heads, to give them some training in terms of how to manage and supervise personnel and to build a team. Finally, we're moving forward with the lease exhibit for the Freetown Elementary School in order to have that included in the actual lease that we still have to endorse. It's a pretty simple thing. They have drawn an area around the building. They're going to provide a written description of it. They attach it to the lease itself, and it's considered a lease exhibit A, for example, and that should suffice in terms of defining the space that's being leased by the school. So Kelly Engineering is doing that project, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll have something to present to the board to approve. I also have run this to the superintendent. I showed him the proposal of what Kelly had drawn, and his only concern was that the well be included. The well is included in the area that we defined as the project area or as the lease area. So up to this point, we're on target, and hopefully we'll have that in a couple of weeks. That's it.
Okay, very good, thank you. Item number 15 is to make final recommendations on the 2020 omnibus budget. And what we have left that was on hold and we have not made a vote on, the first item is the town administrator's budget and the final amount on that.
Are we going to session on that?
We're going to be voting on the budget in open session. The relation of anything as to the people affected by the budget would be in the executive session. So
Okay.
the first item is the town administrators, and the question, the 2% that was put in for cost of living. Do we have any discussion on that?
Well, it's kind of weird that we're gonna talk about this, but then now we're gonna go into executive
Yeah.
session to talk about this.
Well,
mean,
do
it's-
you
I
wanna?
mean, we can
okay.
go into executive
All right.
session and come back out and vote on the budget afterwards.
Well,
It's hard to say what that budget is gonna be without discussing executive session stuff.
okay, you wanna put off the holds then?
Well, yeah, let's put out the holes, discuss the budget,
Okay,
and then we'll go into executive sessions
All right.
and take care of the holes. Is that all right?
yes.
Okay.
All right, then, the police, Tim, the police budget, all those are all set, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the only thing we need to do is to, verify the last items that we had already discussed, correct?
Which were,
Okay,
What
all
you
right,
can do is all individual items, or you could do everything else all in one vote.
okay, so what, had not been, officially voted on is the finance committee, budget. The legal budget adds to, there was discussion and agreement that we would increase it from $100,000 to $125,000.
which line item we talking about?
That's gonna be, where do I see legal?
Legal is 151.
151, Okay, yep, I can't see it because it's all right, yes, line item 151, legal. We had, originally, we had asked for $100,000, that's common. We, have in the amended budget here, the $125,000.
And that's based upon the fact that we're going to have to get a reserve fund transfer from the finance committee, because this year we are, gonna be in a deficit position, for, April, May, and June. So I'm gonna put together a transfer request to the finance committee
We're in a deficit for just this line item
for this year.
for this year.
Yes, so we need more than the 100,000 for this year just to get us through.
And Kent
Okay.
Wilkinson had, brought up the belief that we should raise it to 125. The committees agreed, so it's a
Right,
final.
and then we said that we would take out the difference out of, health, because, that line item has room in it. Because Maya came back with a lower proposal, but we didn't wanna go too low because in case we get new employees.
You mean health insurance?
Yeah,
Yeah, the health insurance, budget was decreased,
so we'll
but I think she might have already, made that adjustment, I don't know.
That's the last page. Should they, no, it's not one page.
Yes, health
It's the
insurance.
second one.
1.6 million?
So what we're proposing, you're right, yes, what we're proposing is the same amount as, Stacy, yes. So she has removed that from, the request,
she has?
yes. Because,
No, it's
But
the same
budget-
as last year.
No, that isn't the dollar amount. Actually, I believe that has to be amended.
but the amount that was budgeted for current was $1,615,104, and that's,
But it came in at less than what it was last year.
right.
Right,
okay,
so if we
right,
take
right.
25,000 out of here, or if you don't wanna take all that much out of there, if we reduce health insurance by 25,000 and put it into legal, then we're balanced.
Okay.
You follow me?
Um, Okay, I'm just at
What is legal again?
125.
125. So last year was 100 even, and now we're gonna make it 125, it's at 151.
151.
Oh, yeah, okay. So we're gonna add 25,000.
No, it's already
It's
there.
already there,
Oh, it's already there.
right.
Oh,
See,
It'll
so,
come out of the health insurance account.
mm,
We won't be
was that
raising it and
last year?
appropriating
No,
it, it'll be a
making it back.
transfer from available funds.
okay.
Just,
Oh. So, because I'm confused because we already did it. Why are we doing it again?
well, because
'Cause
Tim
it's-
had said,
it-
we haven't officially voted the approval of it.
All
It's-
right,
it's
because
been
it was done,
discussed.
and it's in this budget,
Right.
so,
So,
So we
when it comes time to, vote the official budget, that sum is already there. All we have to do with these items is vote for the sums, so when we vote for the official budget.
individually?
How
Line
about,
item?
how
No.
about we do this? How about if we vote on the budget except for town administrator, accountant, treasurer, and board of health?
All right, if you wanna do it that way, we can do it.
Yeah,
'Cause
that would
we-
simplify it.
We
All right, I
already
just-
went,
uh,
but I do
right.
think we should reduce the, but we could also do that on town meeting floor if we wanted to.
Which,
Yeah, you
reduce
could do
the,
the
health
motion.
insurance by 25,000. Yeah, when we do the motion
Right.
on town meeting floor, we can reduce it at that time. But I'll make a motion to approve the budget, without the town administrator, accountant, treasurer, and board of health building clerk only.
And we'll review that in
Right.
In
executive
an
session.
executive session,
Yes.
yeah.
And all the other items, highway, council on aging, OPEB, they're all accepted,
There are, apparently.
capital building.
All right, motion made, second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor of approving the omnibus budget as printed with the, 4 holds still in place.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll turn it over to Board of Health. And the item that is on the Board of Health is the fact that the regulations haven't been updated and rewritten since 1978. Did that sound right?
Sounds like they're overdue.
Okay, and what this item is to discuss and take action. Do we want to, start to work on updating the Board of Health regulations? Basically, what that would be is having Derek go through the, regulations, see what's dated, what isn't, what he might, feel we should add, that type of thing, and then come before us.
I can work with him on that.
Yeah, you're,
Yep.
yeah,
Okay.
you're the
Yeah.
chair, that's
Yeah, so
perfect.
that's, so we're not voting on that tonight?
No, we don't need to
No.
vote,
Okay.
just,
All right, so,
all right, moving on, item 17, Personnel Board.
Make a motion, or I'll need a motion to approve Robin Roach to open space and recreation, effective tomorrow.
I'll make that motion.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And also, Ellen Lima to the Housing Authority, effective May 21st, 2019.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in
All right.
favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, we will be going into executive session for Mass General Law, Chapter 30A,
No.
Section 21,
That's,
Paragraph, A, sub,
Building.
Paragraph 4, to discuss and discuss the deployment of or strategy regarding security personnel. Also, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Paragraph A, subsection 2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, David Dimash, Town Administrator, and Jessica Thomas, Treasurer Collector. And the last item is Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Paragraph A, Paragraph 3, to discuss strategy with regards to litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigation positions of the public body, and the chair so declares. The chair so declares Excel Recycling Limited Partnership versus Town of Freetown. I'll accept the motion.
second.
Motion made and, did I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Ms. Pacheco,
yes.
Mr. Grunwall,
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan, yes.